Depression, anxiety, chemical dependency, phobias. These are all just a few of the many, many mental health conditions that afflict people across the world every day. And chances are good that you personally know somebody who has one of these conditions. Or maybe you're the person who has one of these conditions. Or if you're anything like me, not only do you know somebody who has these conditions, you have them yourself. So how do we interact with people who have different mental health conditions? Well, you're in luck, because I just happen to have written a comprehensive guide on how to be a good mental health ally. Welcome. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Error 404, Mental Health Not Found, your one-stop shops for all things mental health. And today we are going to be diving into, drumroll, I'm putting sound in here, like there's going to be a thing. Anyway, we're going to be diving into how to be helpful without being a hot mess, a satirical guide to being a good mental health ally. But before we dig into that, I do want to cover my pert little tushy here and mention that I am not a doctor. I am not a mental health professional. I am not a psychologist or any kind of therapist. I cannot diagnose you for anything, nor can I prescribe anything for you. So please, please, please do not ask. If you feel like you are having a mental health issue and need assistance, please stop what you're doing right now and reach out. There are so many resources available. I will be putting a lot of them in the show links for you to look through, as well as different notes as to where I have gathered a lot of my information for this episode. So if you do feel like you're having a crisis of any kind, or you know somebody who is having a crisis of any kind, please reach out. It can be friends, family, or if you don't feel like you have somebody you feel comfortable going to, just stop what you're doing and dial 911. I guarantee you the people on the other side of that line are trained crisis counselors. They know what they're doing and they're there to help. Please, please, please remember that you matter in this world, and it would be a much sadder place without you. So today we're going to dive into a topic that is incredibly important, but can also be kind of intimidating. How to be a good mental health ally. Now, before you decide to click away thinking that, oh my God, he's going to lecture us on how to be a good friend, this is not a lecture. I promise you it is not. It is a satirical survival guide, because we are tackling this with both heart and humor. Think of this as your guide to being helpful without being a hot mess. Now, mental health is a big deal. It's huge. It's something that touches literally everyone, whether it's your best friend, a sibling, a coworker, or if it's you. And being there for someone who's actually struggling, well, it's one of the most meaningful things that we can do. But it's not always as easy as saying, I'm here for you. Sometimes we mean well, but we end up doing more harm than good. Like when your friend is venting and you're just like, oh no, have you tried yoga? Downward dog is not the cure for anxiety. Trust me, if yoga could fix everything, we'd all be on mats right now solving world peace. But guys, let's be real. Even for those of us who already suffer from mental health conditions and know what we would want a friend to do, being a mental health ally can still feel like you're walking through a minefield. You're trying to help, but you're afraid you might say something stupid like, well, why don't you just cheer up? Also, never, ever say that. Or worse, you dive into fix-it mode, like, oh, you're sad, well, let me send you a spreadsheet of solutions. Guess what, guys? No one wants your mental health PowerPoint presentation. But that's why we are here today. We're going to go over the do's and the don'ts of being a supportive human. Because the truth is, being a good ally isn't about having all of the answers. It's about knowing when to be present and listen, when to step in, and most importantly, when to back off. It's about being that friend who doesn't make it all about you or offer advice like, hey, have you tried chamomile tea? Because sure, Karen, let me brew my way out of depression. This episode is about breaking down those well-meaning, but oftentimes cringeworthy moments, so we can all be the kind of allies that actually make a difference. We're gonna laugh, we're gonna learn, and by the end of this, well, you'll know exactly how to support somebody without accidentally turning into a walking self-help seminar. So, grab a snack, settle in, and let's get into it. Because being a good mental health ally is important, but no one said it had to be boring. Now we're about to open our guide on how to be helpful without being a hot mess. But before we get into that, there are two people I would really like to thank. One is going to be my amazingly beautiful and adoring husband, Neil. Thank you so much, my love. And one of my best Judies, Erin. Both of them have helped me recreate some of the do's and don'ts of being a good mental health ally. So thank you both for your help with that, and I hope everybody watching enjoys their recreations as much as I enjoyed filming them. So with that, we're going to jump into our very first do. Do educate yourself about mental health. Roll the tape. I'm talking to myself, aren't I? Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to that party at Sidetrack next week. You want to come?
Oh, no thanks. I would feel too uncomfortable.
Why?
I'm just dealing with a lot of social anxiety right now.
I'm not sure what that is. What's social anxiety?
I just feel nervous and embarrassed in front of large groups of people. It makes me feel stupid.
Okay. All right. Is there, so it makes you feel uncomfortable and nervous. What else kind of happens with social anxiety? Like, how did other things with you?
Well, I just don't know what to say.
Okay.
I am fearful that I won't remember everyone's names or they'll laugh at me. It makes me want to leave and just be by myself.
Okay. Is it just with like big groups, or is it all groups, or is it maybe like?
I feel like it can be with large groups of people, but sometimes it's just small numbers of people. I feel like this too.
Okay. All right.
Now, wasn't that fun, guys? So, as you can see, Aaron came across a specific mental health condition that he didn't really have any experience with. Instead of passing it off and ignoring it, he asked questions but questions to help him learn more about what Neil was feeling in that moment, to help him understand where Neil's coming from. Sometimes this can go further beyond that too. There have been times where I have come across different conditions where I had to go home and I had to actually research them a little bit to understand them. And that's amazing. That's something we should all be striving to do. The next time I come across somebody with that specific condition, I'm going to understand how to interact with them a lot more because I took the time to educate myself. Now, we just saw how you can educate yourself to help put yourself in somebody else's shoes and understand where they're coming from with different mental health conditions. So our first don't is, don't turn it into a competition. Roll the tape. Oh God, I keep doing that. Oh, God.
And right now it's just tough. I can't find a job, and unemployment is running out, and I might not be able to make my rent, and I just don't know.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. I mean, my Starbucks card ran out of loyalty points the other week. It sucked.
Now, if you're anything like me, Starbucks in the morning is a crucial start to your day and not murdering people. But using your own struggles to one-up somebody else's mental health issues can devaluate what they're feeling and cause them to not want to open up to you and oftentimes anyone else anymore. If they feel like somebody is always going to try and one-up them and make their problems worse than theirs, why would they keep trying? So our next do is something that I have personally struggled with in the past and something that I continue to work on, but we do want to listen without trying to fix things. So let's take a look at that. Film the roll.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, work is bothering me. It's just been really hard lately with all these projects. I feel like I'm messing up royally, left and right. I really screwed up this one budget line item. Anyway, afterwards, a bunch of the coworkers and I went out to happy hour, and then I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, they were all laughing. I think they were laughing at me. I just feel like I'm screwing up and I don't belong. I just don't want to be around people right now. It's all too much.
Well, that's rough.
Thanks for listening.
So as you can see, sometimes listening without fixing is as simple as saying something like, "Tell me what's going on whenever you're ready." And it matters because sometimes just listening is the best support you can offer. But when you try and jump directly into fix-it mode, it sends the message that their feelings are a problem to solve rather than something valid to feel. Our next don't is a very important one, and it's something that I have personally experienced somebody do to me, and it's not something that feels great. We don't guilt trip them for not being positive enough. Roll on by. Wait, film?
I'm just having a hard time right now. I can't seem to get out of this kind of dark depression that I'm dealing with, and it's just hard.
Have you tried not being sad? I mean, you're kind of depressing to be around like this.
So why is it important that we don't guilt trip them for not being positive enough? Well, I mean, it really sends the message that their mental health struggles are invalid because, hey, other people have it worse, right? So our next do is actually a very, very important one, and it may seem like a small thing, but it's a small thing that has a really big impact. Do validate their feelings. Roll over tape. Cue roll.
So what's this whole thing about the work event that you went to after?
Well, it was just a happy hour. We go to a lot of happy hours together. We're friends. But lately with all the projects I've been missing and everything going on, I just feel like everyone's talking behind my back. It makes me nervous. makes me feel stupid. It makes me feel like I don't belong there.
I get that. You're under a lot of stress and it's tough.
I mean, should I just quit? Do I even belong?
Even and with vitality.
You don't need to quit, but I totally understand your feelings. There's a lot going on and it sometimes just makes you kind of double check yourself, double think yourself, double guess yourself. So yeah, I totally get it. It's tough, and projects and stress can make things harder.
So validating somebody's feelings is incredibly important because it shows them that their experience is real and that they're not alone in it. Acknowledging their emotions and not judging them goes such a long way to helping people feel better. A little thing with a big impact. So our next don't is don't only show up in crisis mode. I'm not even going to say anything about taping the roll. Rolling the... Damn it.
Aaron, what's with this meltdown on Instagram? Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. That was a week ago or so.
A week? But you're okay now?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty okay.
Okay, good. I gotta run. Bye.
Bye.
So when you're that person who only reaches out when somebody's already in the middle of a crisis, it shows them that they're not important enough for you to be there if there aren't stakes and drama. Bonus points if you can make it about how worried you were. The final do that I could twist these two into reenacting for me is also a very, very important one. Do recognize when you don't have all of the answers. Does somebody have some tape?
I just don't know what to do. I feel anxious, embarrassed. I feel like I don't belong anymore. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong for joining this company anyway.
You might have thanked you.
But they...
Well, I definitely understand your feelings, and I've definitely been there in certain situations. And I mean, to be honest, I don't know. I don't have the answers. Like I get where you're coming from, and I understand your feelings, but I just don't know. I don't know what I would do in that situation. So what I can do is, whatever you need to talk about it or just kind of vent about it, you can just talk to me.
So being able to recognize and admit when you don't have all of the answers is incredibly important, because being honest when you don't have all of the answers shows authenticity, and it shows that you actually care. Sometimes just being there and admitting you don't have all the answers is the best kind of support you can provide somebody. It shows them that, hey, you're not the only one who doesn't know how to fix this, but you still have somebody in your corner. Now, the final don't that I could get them to do before they quit and went drinking is don't change the subject. I'm on a roll.
It's just been real tough since Brian broke up with me. I know it's been a few weeks, but I just don't want to be alone the rest of my life. But I don't know if I'm ready for another relationship. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. So, just been tough.
Man, that totally sucks. But listen, forget about that. Have you heard about 2 for Tuesdays at Steamwork? Let's go.
When you casually change the subject to a conversation about yourself or something completely unrelated, what you're really doing is showing them that you really just don't care. You only care about what's making you happy or what you want. And that makes things infinitely worse for them because they don't feel heard, they don't feel like their feelings are valid. Don't ever change the subject. So these were just a few of the do's and the don'ts to being a good mental health ally, but really what this comes down to is a deep and honest connection with the person who's opening up to you. Let them express themselves, let them tell you how they feel, and just because you may not personally know what it feels like to feel what they're feeling, that doesn't make their feelings invalid or unimportant. Think about how you would want to be treated if you were struggling with somebody or with something and nobody was listening to you. Nobody was interested in hearing what you had to say, or they were dismissive, or they said you shouldn't feel the way you feel. How would that compound the problem for you? Being a good mental health ally really just comes down to being a good friend. And understand that you're gonna make mistakes. Things are gonna happen. Sometimes you're not gonna get it right. And showing that you can continuously come back and say, hey, I told you to do this, it was wrong, I shouldn't have told you that, I didn't think about it. Or celebrating their wins when they do get something right is so important. It shows honesty and it shows that you care. And really, that is so, so, so important to anyone who's struggling with any kind of mental health issue. But like I said, these were just a couple of examples of the do's and don'ts. So with that, I'm going to leave you with the rest. Have fun reading through these. And remember, life is just a movie. And our brains, well, they're the twist we never saw coming. Bye.